Bonsoir. Bonsoir à toutes et à tous. Good evening, everyone. We'll be doing the presentation tonight in English, so hopefully you all understand my accent. Anyways, it's a true pleasure to welcome you tonight at the French Consulate for the 16th edition of the French American Entrepreneurship Award. We are here to celebrate bold entrepreneurs, and let's be honest, we should also celebrate anyone who found parking on a Tuesday night around the consulate to actually attend this event, so you also deserve an award. Anyways, I'm Sylvain Hardier, and I have the honor to be the co-president of the FAEA this year with my co-president next to me, Guillaume Bouvard, who will take over as MC shortly. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to share a few words about how the FAEA came to life. 18 years ago, Dominique Mercier, a cherished member of the Club 600, passed away in a skiing accident in the Alps. Dominique was a true embodiment of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial spirit, curiosity, genuineness, and commitment to helping others thrive. In his memory, the Club 600 created the FAEA to honor his legacy and to support the next generation of born entrepreneurs, which many of us here are here tonight, and some others will be celebrated later in the evening. Since then, the initiative has grown to become the longest-running startup competition of its kind in the US, serving as a launch pad for startups entering the American market. Tonight is a celebration of innovation, resilience, and the spirit of building across borders. But it's also a moment to say thank you. Thank you to the incredible audience here tonight, to our sponsors and partners who without we wouldn't be able to put this event together every year and year after years. And of course, the FAEA Executive Committee who's volunteering every year to put this event together, and the dedication and time and creativity that shapes this event is nothing short of incredible. I'd like to also recognize the Club 600, the organization under which the FAEA was born and continues to thrive to this day. Founded in 1985, the Club 600 was created as a forum for French-speaking executives in New York City to connect, exchange ideas, and strengthen the economic and business ties between France and the United States. Today, its members include senior executives, entrepreneurs, business leaders across different industries, all united by a shared commitment to community and transatlantic collaboration. The Club 600 is a private network. If you're curious to learn more, our president, David Orviller, is in the back over there, producing the event tonight, and he's been a driving force behind this evening, like all of us on the committee. We're excited for our program tonight. 3 brilliant startups are joining us, and they will take the stage. You'll be able to cast your vote as the audience vote, and we'll wrap up the evening with a delicious cocktail in the other salon on the other side of the building. And now I'll do what every good president should, co-president should. Stop talking and let the evening begin. Guillaume, take it away before I turn this into a TED Talk.
I will indeed be your MC tonight, and I'm very excited about that. So tonight's program, you have it in this little brochure. Hopefully you can see it. We're going to have a little bit of context first, a little bit of speeches, etc., just to make sure that you guys have the full evening in mind. Then we're going to hear the speeches from the three great entrepreneurs. We'll ask everyone to vote. That's going to be in about an hour. And then everyone will be able to go back to Angelina and Dolce Brooklyn cocktails and ice cream very shortly. Okay? So let me continue here. Before I actually start, I just want to bring that to your attention if you have not seen it in your brochure. There's actually a little bit of an auction going on. We have some of our partners and sponsors who actually have given some really great gift to the community. They come at incredible prizes. If you are interested, just snap the QR code and bid. I think you'll be happy. There are some things from Roche-Beaubois, Air France, and more, and really, really nice little gift here and there. Okay. So now I'm actually going to give the microphone to our host, and I'm very pleased to welcome the Consul Général de France, Cédric Fourisco, who's going to say a couple words to us. Cédric.
Merci beaucoup. Bonsoir à tous, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests. It's a pleasure for me to welcome, wow, impressive, to welcome you to the French Consulate for the 16th edition of the French-American Entrepreneurship Award ceremony. This is the second grand final after 4 days after Paris Saint-Germain victory, of course. I'm sure tonight's final will be just as exciting and brilliant. No pressure. For the past 16 years, this award has been a cornerstone of the French tech ecosystem in New York and across the United States. It has assisted countless startups in developing into the American market while showcasing some incredible French talents. Of course, we remember Julie Chapon from UCA, Yves Benchimol, who is here tonight. I've just seen him from WeWard, but also Content Square, Hypercell Technologies, and many others who have since become major players here in the United States in their respective fields. So tonight's finalists, Enlai, Horizon, and Optimalex are also a prime example of this talent. I know that the selection process this year was very competitive, so I think we should applaud strongly, and because they are incredible, our 3 finalists now. And your presence here tonight reflects your ambition, innovation, resilience. And I know that the economic environment is not too easy, uncertainty, etc. But you show that talent and determination are stronger than doubt. And that spirit is both deeply, I think, French and American. So thank you very much for that. So we are really, really proud of what you do. Tonight is also special because we bring together the entire French team, l'équipe de France, the French business ecosystem. So thanks to Business France et Frédéric Rossi. Applause, please. BPI France, Valentin, qui est là. La French Tech New York avec Caroline Winter, qui est là aussi. The French Foreign Trade Advisor, of course. The French American Chamber of Commerce. I've seen Paulina. Merci. French Founders, French Morning, l'Alliance Française, le lycée français qui est là aussi, merci. She4She, bien sûr, elles sont là. And of course, le Club 600. I don't know if Anne... yeah, you are. Bravo, Anne. Also, a special thank to all the sponsors, of course, and to the president of the ceremony, Guillaume Bouvard et Sylvain Hardiette. Alors, merci à tous, and without further ado, I give the floor to you, Guillaume. Thank you.
Okay. Well, hopefully we're not going to break anything tonight. You know, we're going to be very careful. No burnt cars. Oops. So hopefully I had planned to talk about how special of an evening it was tonight, but Cedric, you stole my show a little bit. So I'm just going to repeat just a couple of things that are really important to keep in mind. Why is this year so special? 16 years that this prize has been going on. It's actually the longest it has ever been for any prize in the US for Franco-American companies. It's actually something that we are very proud of, and I think as a French community we should be proud of. I don't know if that exists actually in other countries, but it's actually quite special. Many companies have won, many companies have participated. Obviously, we have had a ton of jury who raise their hand and say, I want to participate, I want to assess these companies. Again, quite a special evening from that perspective. What Cedric talked about is what's on the right here. We have had, for the first time, every single body of the French business community actually raising their hand and saying, I want to participate and help these French companies. Again, something that is quite special, something that we are quite proud about. I don't know if that happened in other countries, in other parts of the United States, but just from my perspective, it is an achievement. All these people are great, by the way, and you're going to meet them all tonight. So let's continue a little bit here. Every year, people ask me, but what's the process? What is the process for FAEA companies to actually come to tonight? And so let me just tell you in a nutshell, because at least it gives some context for people who actually don't know. We start the process, as a team in the fall. We work through preparing a little bit of this, thinking about sponsors and partners. We work with them to understand what's going to happen. We opened the site, if you want, for people to apply sometime in March. For 2 months, the companies can apply, or a month and a half, companies can apply. Then we evaluate them based on the file that they send to us. We don't speak to them at that time. We actually select 3 winners, and tonight you're going to hear the 3 winners. The 3 winners, actually, once we have selected them, they actually come and meet with us and actually pitch their company on a Sunday morning, which we did 2 days ago, which was wonderful. They pitched with us. They actually tell us a lot about their business. They spend way more time than they're going to spend tonight. But we actually learn a lot about what they are doing. And based on that, we actually rank them. First winner, second winner, third winner. The reason I bring that up is because everyone is a winner. There's no loser in that game. Yeah. We have actually already selected the companies, and we are very proud about the company that we have selected. They are really quite incredible. So again, today is about showing you the ranking, hearing the pitch, and then voting. And we'll ask everyone here to vote on this. So get ready. That's going to come a little bit in a minute or two. So the last thing I wanted to mention is, these are some of the companies I've applied over the years. You may see some names you recognize. We mentioned a couple already a little bit earlier today. We are going to have tonight 2 special guests, which actually are 2 past winners of this award. They are here tonight, and again, you're going to hear them shortly. But this just gives you a sense of the company that I've applied over the years and why it's an incredible and very creative assembly of companies. What's so interesting for me is when you think about this table here, or this cloud word, as we call that, many of these companies actually have changed their status. Some of them are gone, just disappeared. They are dead, simply. Others were bought, others IPO'd, others decided to merge, others are still working the way they are. What you see here is a mix of B2B, B2C. In fact, last year we had mostly B2C company. This year we have only B2B companies. And so it changes every year. This year we don't have anyone in agriculture, we don't have any food company. We had that a couple of years ago, and so it changes every year. It just gives you a sense of the diversity of the prize. What's also quite interesting to me as a founder, and my company, by the way, is on this chart too, is that, and maybe when you talk to founders, you'll hear that often, it's not just the destination, it is the journey. And us founders and entrepreneurs, we do that not just because we think there's a prize at the end of the tunnel, but we also do it because the journey is actually worth it. We actually live something that is quite extraordinary, to build something from scratch that actually delivers value to our customers, to our partners, to our investors, etc. And so again, I'm very psyched when I see this cloud, because it gives me a sense that over the years, we have accomplished quite a bit. We had a special message that we actually received this morning, actually. And so I'm going to play a little video from, again, another special guest. And I know you guys want to hear the pitches, but this one is also quite special. So I'm actually going to go to the next slide. Oops, nope, that's not the one. And this is the one. And so we are going to hear a couple words from Laurent Saint-Martin, who is the ministre délégué des affaires, du commerce extérieur des Français de l'étranger. Who's going to say again a couple words to this assembly. We're lucky enough to have his support and the support of the government. Again, the video came this morning, so I'm going to play it for you guys. Believe me, it's very short.
Messieurs les présidents, cher Guillaume, cher Sylvain, mesdames et messieurs les membres du jury, mesdames et messieurs, je ne peux malheureusement pas être parmi vous ce soir au consulat pour cette belle cérémonie des French American Entrepreneurship Awards. Je tenais néanmoins à vous adresser ce message pour vous féliciter de votre engagement et pour vous dire combien je me réjouis de voir se renforcer à travers cette initiative les liens solides qui unissent nos 2 pays. Comme vous le savez, la relation transatlantique traverse une période d'incertitude, et notamment au plan commercial. Notre position est claire depuis Paris, nous voulons un agenda positif avec les États-Unis, qui reste un allié et un partenaire incontournable, même dans cette période. Dans ce contexte si particulier, nous avons donc besoin de vous. Nous avons besoin de celles et ceux qui, par leur engagement quotidien, entretiennent le dialogue, favorisent la compréhension mutuelle et bâtissent une véritable communauté d'intérêts de part et d'autre de l'Atlantique. Cet événement porté par le Club 600 et soutenu par des partenaires de grande qualité que je veux saluer. Business France, la French Tech New York, la FAEA, la BPI, les CCE, French Founder, She4She, l'Alliance New York, French Morning et le lycée français de New York. Avec vous, cette mobilisation de l'équipe France au grand complet illustre parfaitement le dynamisme et la créativité de nos talents à l'international. Alors merci à vous de faire rayonner la France pour cet esprit d'innovation si français au-delà de nos frontières et en particulier ici à New York. J'aimerais adresser un mot spécial à nos finalistes de ce soir. Vous êtes la preuve vivante que l'audace, l'exigence et la passion peuvent déplacer des montagnes. Alors bonne chance à chacun d'entre vous. Et enfin, je souhaite un très bel anniversaire à la FAEA pour cette 16e édition et à toutes et tous une excellente soirée. À très bientôt.
Thank you. Thank you again. Quite special for us to receive this endorsement from the minister. Before we...
Messieurs les
oh, excuse me. Messieurs les... okay. No. Oops. Excuse me. All right. So tonight, before we start, just 2 rules for you guys to know. The pitches are going to be 5 minutes, and then it will be followed by 5 minutes of Q&A. For the Q&A, we're going to invite with each company 2 of our partners that are experts in the field, work with a lot of startups, a lot of companies all day long, and so they see a lot of success stories and hard stories also. Okay, so that's the rule. The winners are going to receive incredible prizes, and I'll talk a little bit about that at the high level. They're going to receive a number of membership from some of our partners. They're going to receive consultation, free consultation from, again, some of our partners, some of our sponsors. Very importantly, they're going to receive introductions, because as an entrepreneur, I know that what I care about is business. Yeah? I want my business to thrive, and what I want from this audience here as an entrepreneur is introductions, things that actually are going to allow me to increase my P&L. And so we're going to make that happen. We're going to try to help these companies as much as we can. There's a little bit of money, and then also, very importantly, is visibility. Again, they're going to present tonight as an example, and you are the audience. The one thing I would ask, because people ask me also every year, wonderful, but how can we help them? Yeah? And so my ask from each of you is, when you listen to these companies, think about how you could help them. Yeah? And you're going to see them. Some of them are in field that you may know, or you may have connection. Talk to them. They are here for the evening. They're welcoming your insights, your support. Some of them actually, one of them is actually not even in New York yet. He's moving soon. The other one is coming from Boston, etc. So everyone is trying to make it work. They need your support. So, don't be shy. Just go to them. All right. So with this, we are going to have our first company. So I'm going to invite to the stage Philippe Rival, who is actually the CEO and co-founder of Enlay. And I'm actually also going to invite the 2 guest experts who are going to come on stage here. So we have Tanny Brunnervin, who is the head of New York for French Founders, as well as Caroline Winter, who is actually the head of the co-president, of La French Tech New York. And I will leave it to you. You have yes.
Bonsoir à toutes et à toutes. Good evening, everybody. I want to take the first few seconds to thank both the FAEA jury and selection committee and the consulate for hosting us tonight, and the whole Équipe de France that made this possible. I happen to be one of the teams that is not in New York yet, so it's a particular privilege to be here. Are we going to? There we go. My name is Philippe Rival. I am French-Australian, actually. I grew up in Saint-Germain-en-Laye, which is actually where the name of the company comes from. I have a decade as a civil engineer. I spent 10 years on large-scale construction projects in North America, working for the Vinci Group. And then in 2021, moved to Boston to pursue an MBA at Harvard Business School, where I was reconnected geographically with a friend of mine from the Lycée International de Saint-Germain-en-Laye, who went a totally different path. He went to get a PhD in computational neuroscience and AI. And together we brought his knowledge in AI and my experience of 10 years in the field to solve the biggest problem, which is risk in construction projects. We've grown the team to 5 full-time people, 4 in Boston and 1 in Paris. And we actually have 4 interns who started yesterday. That's why Stabadi's not here tonight, but he does apologize and say hi to you all. This is the problem we're tackling. To build is to manage risk. Now, if you want to play a little game, there are 24 scenes of risk on this image, if you want to try and find some. But construction is not just risky in the field, it's also risky in the office and even in the pre-project phase when you're understanding the risk profile of a project. It's an industry where you're asked to give a price on a project before you've ever set foot in the field. That price becomes essentially your revenue for that deal. And then you have to try and keep that red curve of costs below the green line of revenue so that you make some blue profit, which on a good year is 3% when there isn't tariff nonsense. And you have to do that for all the projects you have ongoing. Now, this is not just a problem that is true for builders and general contractors, which is where I'm most familiar. It's true for all sides of the negotiation table, all the stakeholders. It's true for the developers on the private side who also have funding and financing risk for the project. It's true, obviously, for public agencies, but also for the whole network of subcontractors and smaller GCs who depend on these projects getting off the ground to survive. Now, how do we solve the problem? Well, we start pretty simply by connecting to where the project data is. That can be with companies uploading their files directly on our system, or us plugging into a drive or something more professional like Autodesk Suite. And then we build one big network, a knowledge graph, if you will, on top of that data. Now, the reason we do that is because you've all been in the situation where you had a report or a contract or some document, but then something in some appendix in some other file somewhere changed something about what you were reading, and you didn't know because you didn't have that file open. That's why we build a big network on top, and actually our AI navigates that network to perform tasks and queries. It becomes, if you will, the brain of the project, and that brain is what the team then works on to analyze the risk profile of the project. That becomes the institutional memory of the project. So no longer is there a risk if someone leaves the job or goes to a competitor. You have all that memory in your project brain throughout the entire life cycle, which has led us to the not very sexy but very descriptive tagline of risk lifecycle management, from prospection to putting in a bid if you actually want the job, to delivering on it and then learning from it at the end of delivery. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on the product, but if you're interested, I'm happy to show you during the cocktail afterwards, and you have a little QR code here. Suffice it to say that the main thing is our customers are basically all engineers. They're extremely skeptical. They're not going to trust an AI guy that's like, hey, my AI is great. They want to go check for themselves. So we provide down to the exact clause, the exact number, the exact source accuracy for absolutely everything the AI does. And our customers actually can spend 10 seconds asking a question or setting a task, but 10 minutes looking into whether that task was done accurately. Now, I'm going to end today on some traction because that's the exciting reason we're here tonight. We raised $1.7 million in a pre-seed round almost a year ago from 3 American VCs and the Vinci Group in France. And I want to give a special shout out to the Harvard Innovation Labs. We're actually incubated there, which is our office in Boston is at the Harvard Innovation Labs. And the director of alumni programs is actually here with us tonight. So go see her at the end during the cocktail. Now, we've turned that small investment already into over $100,000 of annualized revenue using a relatively simple SaaS business model, not per project, because that life cycle mode really doesn't jive very well with per project pricing. We already service over $12 billion of project value on projects that span the US, France, and Canada already. And I'd be remiss, especially on a night like tonight where the whole Équipe de France is here, not to mention the community success of the team. We are extremely close to the Innovation Center, both with Harvard, BU, and MIT in Boston, but also the Team France, as they call it in Boston. So I myself happen to be on the board of the French Tech. We're members of all these different organizations, and without their help and support, we wouldn't be here tonight. I want to again thank you for this amazing opportunity, and time for questions.
Thank you so much. Congrats for, just doing it in 5 minutes. It's pretty impressive. So we heard a lot, when you came to pitch, but there was one question we had for today. What do you think is really, why do you think your approach is more effective than traditional risk management solutions?
That's a very good question. Because it's verticalized. So to be able to go to one of the most risk-averse and low-margin industries and say, I'm going to help you manage risk better, you have to be built by people who have understanding of the unique setup of something like the construction vertical, or more broadly what we call the built world, which includes infrastructure, real estate, and that kind of thing. If all you're doing is collecting public data from the internet and doing sort of general summaries, nobody is going to believe your vertical knowledge and your credibility. So it takes more work to find people who have some construction intuition and knowledge, but with that's kind of a prerequisite to get in the door, to get them to try your product in the first place.
Thank you.
Thank you, Philippe, and congratulations again. My question is related to the platform development and especially what feedback did you receive from early users and how it has influenced the development of the platform?
So this is a question I like because I have way too many feature requests than I know what to do with. So we currently are, I don't consider ourselves fully deployed yet. We're across different geographies, different size companies to get as much feedback as we can. And so we have a backlog of about several dozen features that our customers request. We wait until we hear them from at least 3 different companies before we build them, because that's how you know that there's some difference across different geographies and different jurisdictions. But the feedback has been overwhelming, and I think it ties to the answer to the first question, which is finally there's a team that has been on a field. It's not just software people. It's finally a team that understands what it means to be a builder and to manage risk in that sort of chaotic scene you saw in the first photo, and I think that helps us really resonate with them, and that's why they're so keen to give us as much feedback as they do.
Do we have time for another question?
Yeah, I'm happy
to. So then, what is your next concrete objective with your company?
So, by the end of this year, we will have picked a feature set to deploy and to do a more broader launch, official launch, if you will, that will span all 3 of those countries. After that, we'll go out for our full seed raise, which will be much more with the objective of developing that more finalized version of the product, as opposed to the dozens of tests and iterations we're doing now. Of course, they're generating revenue, so we could do that now, but we want to get really the right fit product that makes the most sense for the customer before we sort of turn on the floodgates and start broadcasting it to the world. Beautiful. Thank you again, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Wow, incredible company. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next CEO of the evening. Oops. And I'm going to call Jules Mainviel, the CEO and co-founder of Horizon. And here's your little thing. Oh, wait. And I also want to call in, if you don't mind, 2 people who are going to be the expert of the evening, so Paulina and Frédéric. Paulina is the managing director of the FAEA New York, and Frédéric is the head of Business France for North America.
I don't know where you took this picture from, but that's an interesting one. Can I move away from here, or do I have to stay here? I feel like I'm a candidate for something otherwise. Hello everyone, I'm Jules Mainviel, really nice to meet you. I've been an entrepreneur in the advertising tech industry for 15 years. After exiting my last 2 companies, I'm really happy to show you and talk to you about my 3rd company, which is called Horizon, like All Eyes on Me, and it's Horizon TV. We launched a year ago in Paris, and we've been lucky enough to work with the top brands in the world and to help them thrive on connected television for their advertising campaigns. We also won some awards on the French market a year ago. And we work on television because television has always been the best screen, the best channel for advertising. That's how you can create brands. That's how we can create emotions between consumers and brands. In the past few years, as you probably noticed, television has evolved. We can now install apps on our televisions. We have platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney, Hulu, Tubi. I can name hundreds now. The televisions are connected, which creates huge opportunities for us as users. We can choose more programs that we want to watch. It creates also opportunities for advertisers and brands because they can engage more with the users where they are. Users have plenty of choice, which is great. And it's the fastest growing market for advertising in the coming years. We're talking about a market that is estimated just in the US only to be $100 billion in just 5 years. Half of those dollars will be spent on linear TV. The other half will be spent on connected TV, when today it's only 1/3. So it's a huge growth that is coming in the coming years. When you look at those charts, you see that actually, even if it's growing, it's not growing as fast as the consumption of connected television. The advertisers are underspending, underperforming on connected TV because of 2 reasons. The first one is about the lack of control and clarity. For us users, having plenty of choice is good, sometimes bad. We can face what we see, fear of better option. We can spend hours to try to choose the content that we want to watch in the evening, but for advertisers it's even worse. They don't know what people are watching, they don't know where the users are, and they don't know where they should advertise. They don't know the shows anymore. They used to know them in linear TV because there were less shows, less channels. Now there are hundreds of millions of channels available and content. For an advertiser, you don't know what content is good for your brand and which one is not. The second challenge that they face is that now the acceptance for advertising is not the same as it used to be a few years ago. When you watch a show, you don't want to be interrupted with a full video screen ad, with a full screen video ad, which is very frustrating for the users. How can we help them to have a more simple ecosystem, brand safe and transparent, and that is actually answering their needs? We built Horizon is a CTV, is an agentic platform for CTV advertising that has been purpose-built for the top brands in the world. We do media plan automation, contextual targeting on premium inventory, and ads that actually drive engagement. We create AI agents that are going to start from a brief from a client, an advertiser that sends us something that they want to advertise for. So they say they have a product, a brand, and they want to advertise for it. They want to target specific audience. We'll convert that, thanks to our AI agents, to an actionable brief. This will be converted into a list of specific shows that are exactly matching what they try to achieve with their brands. Our AI agents are actually scanning all the metadata for each show available on CTV, and they understand what is the exact context by going through the subtitles, going through the images, everything that happens on a specific show on all the platforms, to make sure that we understand deeply, thanks to the AI agents, what happens in the show, and we can match a brand with a show at a huge scale, because we are talking again about hundreds of millions of content available out there. This is thanks to the AI agents, thanks to deep partnerships that we have with the biggest platforms in the world, such as Vizio, for example, here in the US. In France, we can name RMC, BFM Ads, M6. We work with those partners that they help us to run the campaigns that we have from our advertisers. Just to give a few examples of how we do it, in terms of innovation as well, we bring to the market new formats, such as the home screen. When you turn your TV on, you have a full screen video, a full screen ad. Now that can be combined with this example of enriched ad breaks that we have, where you can have QR codes where you can engage. So they are more interactive. And we also created these formats here that you can see, where you can see an example where you stay in the content, you're not interrupted, and you have a reminder of the brand. We are the first ones in the market to bring ad sequencing with those formats, and we're going to launch next week a new format, which is a pause ad unit. When you press pause, you have an ad coming. I know that advertising is not always liked by users, but if you don't like advertising, you can also pay for your content. Just to give you a few, so what are we evaluated on? So we look at some KPIs that are brand uplift. So we do post-campaign surveys to make sure that, to measure the impact of what we've been doing for our clients. To give you just a few figures, we launched less than a year ago. We delivered 3 million in revenue on the French market, including campaigns that we've been delivering here in the US. We raised with VCs and business angels 1 year ago for our pre-seed round, 3 million, and we just closed a round of 5 million last week that we're going to announce next week with a US-based VC called Cassius, with a very French touch because they are funded by French people, including Xavier Niel. And I'm moving to the US end of August to launch the business here. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Jules. Well done. Really looking forward to having you here in New York. Who are your main US competitors and what makes you better than them?
We compete with indirect competitors such as the platforms themselves. So Netflix, Amazon Prime, they all have their own sales teams. So what we do is different. We are agnostic in terms of platform. We work with them, but we can sell several platforms. So that's one key differentiator. We also have a French company that started a few years ago and that has been very successful in the US market called TIDS, that is not specialized on connected TV. But that is valued at $1 billion in a recent transaction. We are really impressed by their success here in the US, and we kind of compete with them. They are specialized on video, not necessarily on TV screens, but they are one of our competitors here.
So congratulations, Jules. I think I will never look at my TV again the same way. You said you are moving to New York this summer with your family in order to set up and scale the business in the US. So what are the major challenges you expect to face in the US, and how are you prepared for that?
The team is by far the biggest challenge. I'm building a team of sales people here, B2B sales people who have expertise and experience in the advertising industry. It's a challenge when you are not known on the market, when you come from Europe, to attract the best talent and to make sure you don't make any mistake when you create a team. The core team has such a huge impact on the success of the business, especially the sales team. We are talking about a small team. Each salesperson is selling between $2 and $5 million in revenue, so each single individual that I bring to the team has a huge impact on our success. This is a big challenge for me.
So you were mentioning your innovative approach in using AI agents. How do you ensure data privacy for those brands and those advertisers that are obviously trusting you with their campaigns and their goals? If you can tell us a bit more about that.
We don't really deal with private data. Like everything we do is contextually based, so we just analyze what the context is about. So there is no privacy involved here. We don't do user-level targeting. When it comes to the data of the advertisers, we just take the data that they have in terms of targeting. Most of the time, it's not that sensitive, to be honest. Like they just tell us what kind of audience they want to target. So, to be honest, it's not been raised as a big challenge so far. When we will move to more user-level targeting, this may become a challenge. It's not something that we address right now. Thank you.
Okay. All right, and we're gonna invite our last pitch of the evening. I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna ask Franck Giaoui to come here, as well as our two experts. Our two experts are Chloé Vichot, who is a serial entrepreneur and a coach, as well as a CCE representative, and then Cyril Bessières, who is a partner of Otium Capital and the CEO of Kids Empire, one of the companies he founded.
So first, I would like to thank all the sponsors, the organizers, of course, the French consulate, but more importantly, the volunteers who have organized this wonderful evening and all the process of selection. A big round of applauses. I don't want to name them because there are so many. And as a volunteer myself, particularly with the Fondation des États-Unis, you see here the logo, another way to motivate cross-cultural exchange. We welcome American entrepreneurs, American artists in France at the Cité Internationale Universitaire de Paris. So big round of applause for the volunteers. Thank you. So the story of Optimalex, which is a synthetic casualty insurance claims adjuster, I will explain that in a minute. It starts with an accident. It starts with an accident and then encounters. An accident that I had several years ago, where eventually I almost lost everything, and it was a very painful process to get any kind of compensation. And I got, at that time, the trigger to be interested into what is insurance. I was not really very familiar with insurance. And I realized that the claims process and the adjustment of claims, particularly when there are bodily injury involved, is a very manual, sometimes mundane process, and in essence, very human expert with not much science. A lot of art, probably, but not much science. So that gave me an idea, and I wanted to understand better how damages were calculated. So essentially, at that time, I was already 50. okay? It's relatively unusual. And I went back to law school while maintaining my business. And at that law school, Columbia particularly, I was blessed to meet two exceptional individuals who are now my partners. They were my research assistant, and they are now my partners. One of them could not come today because we needed to have someone to generate revenue, and so he's still working with our clients, Johan. And two are actually here because we agreed with the French American Entrepreneurship Award that tomorrow and the day after, there is the largest conference of InsurTech in New York. InsurTech Insight is in New York. So we made a deal. No, I'm teasing. Of course not, but just by coincidence, we could be here. Love and Philippe, please raise, and thank you for being here. Nothing would have happened without those three guys, so the four co-founders, and we'll come back to the team in a minute. What do we do? As I said, it starts with an accident. And for some of you who had an accident, you will relate very well with what I will tell you. Let's assume you are driving a car and you make a crash against another car and the driver of the other car is injured. Now you have caused an accident. You, of course, have an insurance company on your side, and there is an injured person on the other side with their own insurance, hopefully. The situation in the US particularly can become very litigious. Why? Because part of the damages, like the car damages, is very easy, very simple, and fully automated. Today, any insurance company, even mid-sized insurance company, have automated the car compensation. The car costs $15,000, it is compensated $15,000, no real deal with that. You have also some part of compensation which is easily compensated and estimated is when you, for instance, lose earnings. You are injured or the victim is injured, not working for 6 months, the salary is compensated, it's relatively easy. But what happens if the driver you have caused the injury now cannot play tennis, and they were playing tennis every weekend? They cannot take care of the kids to go to school, and now the kids to go to school needs maybe someone else to take care of them. They cannot provide the enjoyment to life. And this is real situations, right? How do you estimate what we call pain and suffering? Pressio doloris for those who like to speak Latin. This is really very, very difficult. So we focus on the quantification of damages that are difficult to quantify. Okay? And we provide, all right, so you have here the summary of a traditional process. The traditional process, the claim adjuster would do manually collection. They may remember of how many cases were similar in the past. They would discuss maybe with their colleagues, and they would say, okay, this is maybe $1 million compensation. But on the other side, the victim will take a lawyer, and the lawyer in the US is paid on contingency, meaning it's a percentage of what they get. And the lawyer will say, well, it's 10 million. The insurance will wait, and if it is delayed, the 10 million can become 20 millions because, of course, the lawyer will become greedy and greedy. So we put science into that, and essentially the value we deliver using different technology of artificial intelligence, using also millions of data points. We'll come back to that. Today we have 100 million data points. We provide value in time, reducing the cycle time by 25% from 4 years to 3 years, and also providing early estimate, also consistent estimate and accurate estimate in order to reduce the outcome. The compensation can be overall reduced, but that means that individual people can also earn more, because today most people are not compensated. They are not represented by any lawyer. They are below 1 million. No lawyer will take you if you have an injury below 1 million, and they will go only on the top. When you are consistent, of course, you can improve. So I will skip and go to what are our assets. Today, our assets are, number one, the team. I mentioned the management team. We have also a group of senior advisors who are all industry veterans. Some of them are here today. We have also a group of business angels from Bain Capital, from Goldman Sachs, and also from Blackstone, some of whom are also here today. Number two asset is, as I said, the technology and the data. We started with only 300 cases that we manually collected, and today we have 100 million data points. And of course, the third asset is the relationship we have built with our client. Today we have 75 users. We have made in total 500 demos, and we have established a close connection with 100 decision makers, particularly in the medical professional liability, which is a very large market. If I am over in time, then I am very happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation. First question for everyone to understand here in the room. Can you tell us more about the sales cycle and who exactly are the clients that you're serving, how you acquire them, how you retain them, like customer acquisition and retention?
First thing, it's a very long process. Our clients are insurance carriers, mainly insurance carriers. The key decision maker would be the chief claim officer, but often the chief financial officer is involved, and sometimes with mid-sized companies, which we target primarily, the CEO has to give an approval. But eventually there is a consensus building. So that's why it's a very long process. Even if we have a door opening with the CEO, they don't take a decision themselves. They let the consensus build, and the process can be, the quickest we had was 3 months. It's really exceptional. But we had up to 18 months with large companies.
Thanks, Frank, and congratulations for going back to law school at 50. You mentioned just now the time it takes to sign contracts, and when we talked on Sunday, the high barrier to entry to your business. You also just mentioned your data point and how important your database is. With that in mind, how do you see your exit?
That's maybe a little bit early, but I want to give some figures. Today, in the medical professional liability, we have more data points than any single individual player. Even the largest player have less data points than us. Why? Because we have collected that over years. We have also clients who have ingested their own data and data aggregators. And as you can understand, the exit, when it will come, can be from a data company, of course, who are interested into crunching data and selling them. It can be from the large tech companies who are developing their own fields, and it can be even an insurance company. We had actually been approached by a large insurance company, it was very early, who wanted to buy the technology to sell it to their competitors. I don't think this is the best for us immediately now, but who knows?
Last question. Let's say we're here to succeed in the US. Everyone who crossed the Atlantic usually is here to succeed. So how does success look like in 3 to 5 years? And what do you need? Is it a question of time? Is it a question of the right people, the right introductions? Tell us more about that.
Yes, so we took time, and of course, when you are older, time is less of a value, I would say, depending how you take it. But essentially, we took time to establish the relationship. That was really a long process. And now the next step is really to grow faster and to use those door opening to convert them. So you said about retention, this business is very tough to enter. They are very conservative, but it's also very tough to go out. They keep people and providers for 20 years. This has a lot of value. I want to give you an example. Evolution IQ, which was one of our larger competitor in a slightly different market, workers' comp, was sold only 3 months ago to $730 million. This company was, we estimate, between $6 to $8 million ARR, so more than 100 multiple, to a company crunching data, 3CC.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're getting to the end, guys. What I'd like to do now is actually maybe one last round of applause. I know you guys have applauded so much already, and we're going to ask you a couple more times. But these companies are coming from far to present to you. They're excited to be here. They're excited to get your help. So I'll just ask you one more time, I promise, to just give them a little round of applause. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to the vote of the audience. And so you guys are going to be able to, oops, I'm going to go. All right. Here's what I need you to do. You have a QR code here, but you also have one in the brochure. So if you look at the brochure, you'll find 3 QR codes. One of them, you can guess which one, is for the audience award. Snap it and then vote for the CEO from your perspective who deserves the most to win tonight. And I understand that you only had a 5-minute speech, so obviously it's going to be a little bit of a short version of what we saw. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is, while you guys vote and think really hard about who you want to vote for, I'm actually going to invite 2 people on stage. And these, for me, are special guests, and I'll tell you why. We, as I mentioned, we do the award every year, and this year we actually have 2 former winners who happen to be here. And so I'm really happy to welcome on stage, I'm going to ask them to come over, both Elsa Jungmann and Yves Benchimol. Elsa is the CEO. Oops, I don't know where she is. Oh, here you are. Thank you. Elsa is the CEO and founder of Hellobiome, and Yves is the CEO and co-founder of WeWord. Yes. Sorry, again. Or you can go there. And that takes with us one. So we're going to make it we're going to improvise a little bit here, but it's really important. These people actually are doing really great things today. And so what I'm going to do while, again, you're finishing your vote is asking them a couple of questions, and then we'll go back to the prizes. So I'm going to start with Elsa. Elsa, thank you so much for being here. You see these founders here. You see maybe other founders in the room. Can you maybe give us, in a couple words, what was the value for you, actually, of being supported by the French community as a founder when you created your company a couple of years ago?
Yes, hi, thanks everyone. So I'm Elsa and I'm the founder of Hellobiome. I'm based in San Francisco and I had the chance to be in New York at the same time of the final. I would say the French community support in the US is huge to entrepreneurs. What I've learned along the way is that when you're starting a company, especially for the first time, your community is going to be the people lifting you. And when I started my business, I was already living and working in San Francisco, but I come from the scientific world and I knew nothing about investors. I didn't even understood the term angel investor, to tell you where I come from. And winning an award like the French-American Entrepreneurship Award was huge because it gave us so much visibility and support that helped us raise our first round of funding back in 2019.
Thank you so much. So excited to see what you're doing. Yves, I'm going to move to you now. So Yves won last year. Obviously, you moved to the US a year and a half ago, roughly, if I remember correctly. And when you came, your business was already thriving in France, and you're like, all right, I'm going to move that to the US. What did it take for you to actually make it successful? Where are you? Are you excited about what you're seeing and the prospect in front of you?
No, thank you, and I'm happy to be here tonight. Very less stressful than last year when I was pitching. But no, I can say that, of course, it helped a lot. So when I did the pitch, it was like, yeah, less than a year that we launched in the US and approximately 0 revenue, 0 user. We are a B2C mobile application. And currently, after a year, I can say that many people in this room help us to scale in many fields. And of course, the network. We are making more than $5 million of revenue in the US. We managed to attract a celebrity, which is Venus Williams, as investors. And the visibility that gave us make like the French company in the media and also in how people talk about us, one of the best French company in New York. And this is how we managed to attract clients, users, journalists, and all of that. So I will not name everybody in the room, but I can say that you are lucky to be in this position because the years that you will have will be, I think, amazing. So take the most of it. Of course, do not hesitate because all the members of the jury and all the members in this room will be very happy to help you, and I experienced that. So I want to thank you again for organizing this. and for making this happen for young French entrepreneurs that arrive here. And it's not easy when you arrive, but I can tell you that if you are here, you will have fun.
So you're half answering my next question. So, but I'll come back to that. I realize actually I didn't ask you to maybe say a couple of words about what is your business, or maybe when you answer the next question, maybe you can just paint, in 30 seconds what your business is about. I think would be very helpful for everyone. My next question to you is actually any advice you would have for our three winners here. Some of them have been in the US for some time, others have not, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you guys are founders the same way these two are founders. And so if you have some advice to give them, words of wisdom, whatever, I think would be super nice.
For me, what helped me a lot, because we had
Wait, Elsa, don't forget to introduce your company.
Sorry, yes. So I'm the founder of Hello Biome. We are an AI microbiome platform. If you haven't heard about the microbiome, it's all the little microorganisms living on your gut and on your skin, and it's completely changing the way we develop now new therapeutic, but even personal care product. And so we specialized in data collection and predictive model for the beauty, personal care, and consumer health industry. We have over 40 clients from major corporations like L'Oreal, Unilever, Colgate, and many more, to very small new indie brands and ingredient supplier. And the business has been thriving. When we won the award, I thought we would be a consumer brand, which we did for a few years, but I think as a scientist, I was very frustrating about the marketing play when you're a brand, whereas in B2B, and it was very interesting to see all the pitch today, your science and innovation is your marketing, which I think is extremely exciting. And so if you do something strong and solid, the industry will follow you. And an advice, I think stick to who you are. I think me as a scientist, I thought having a brand would be exciting, and I realized I didn't enjoy it as much, but we kept the same mission, innovating health through the microbiome. Along the way, we just pivoted business model, which has been the best decision ever. And I have with me Elisa, who's our CEO, who has been part of that important B2B pivot. We did no sales, no marketing, just us, talking to our network. And in terms of advice beyond that is we've had a lot of flows. It was extremely hard. Like after the first raise of funding, we were hit by COVID. I ran back-to-back 2 pregnancy. It was very hard to raise money as a solo female founder. I won't hide it, but the price helped a lot. And also, we had some part of the team in Ukraine, and the war hit. It was really hard, and so on. But I would say it's important during those times to have people you can really trust, and to have like a circle of trust, whether it's like advisor, investors. Some people, stopped helping us when we were in those low moments and didn't believe in us anymore. But when you find the people who really help us and will lift you up, those people are like really key to your success. Because without those investors and advisors, there would not be Hello Biome anymore. And it started because some people believed in us when I didn't believe in the business anymore. And now after, going through a few roller coasters, like we are stronger than ever. But it's important to find those people, because when you're successful, it's easy to find people who believe in you. But when, hard time come, you really see who are the people who are willing to support you.
And to introduce quickly my company, so I'm the founder of WeWard, which is a mobile app that motivates people to walk more and to have to increase the number of steps. To do so, we give to people rewards based on the number of steps. We gamify the experience, and we also do social challenge. So we are a full B2C company. We stay B2C since the beginning. And now I will not have any advice about the company, because if you are here, it's probably that you have the right path to succeed. As I said, I think my advice will be to take the most. When I arrived, there was like some people in France say, if you go to the US, you have to definitely meet the US person, work with US person, create a community of US person. But I can tell you, like after 2 years, that the French community is way more powerful than if you go with American people, for one reason, because they really want to help you, even if you are really small. And I think like my advice would be tomorrow, like when you will be on press, you were talking about hiring people. You will see that many people will probably contact you, but you can also ask help to people to help you to find the right talent. And the fact that you get this prize will give you the credibility and will validate your business model, and it's very powerful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. Thanks for coming, and I'll send you back to your seat. But thanks so much for your words of advice, and congrats to all the success of your companies. It's very inspiring. All right, and so now we're actually going to move to the moment of the evening where we're going to actually announce the winners, third place, second place, and first place, and then we'll announce the prize of the jury with the support of the Lycée Français of New York. So I'm going to, I don't know that representative of corporate suite is here. I don't believe so. No? So I'll do the first prize. So, and then are you the one? Entrepreneurship starts at a very young age. You need to know how to deal with unexpected moments. So thank you. Future entrepreneurs here, just there. Okay, all right. And so the third winner, again, all of them are winners for tonight. Oops, you're the one dealing, yeah? The third winner for tonight is, our friend. All right. Can you... And then, je te laisse annoncer le... Non, non, toi, tu fais ça. Tu prends ça qui s'occupe de ça. Et...
Okay, and the second of the FAEA entrepreneurship is Unlay.
Thank you. And I'm going to call, Nicolas Ferry. Nicolas? Oh, pardon. Excusez-moi, c'est glissé. Who is our representative from Panex, who is going to announce, and I always found the first winner to be a little bit anticlimactic, because we already know, but many, many congratulations, and I'll give you the
So the winner tonight will be Horizon.
All right, thank you, congratulations again. And now we are actually going to announce the prize of the audience. You guys have all voted, I think. How many votes did we get? 88. That's not everyone. All right, well, I guess the QR code maybe didn't work for everyone, but it's okay. We still hear what's the vote. And so I'm going to ask the four students from, actually, you guys can all come. Actually, no, come. I'm so sorry. The fourth student from the Lycée Français. Let me maybe just say a couple words about Lycée Français, because maybe some of you may wonder, why are they here? These four students actually won the competition, 2 sets of the competition at Lycée Français. And they did that in the fall and in the spring. And as winners, in partnership with the FAEA, they are here to give the prizes. What I have to say is entrepreneurship starts early. And when I see these young people who actually roll up their sleeve, work at night to actually develop business plan, it is the way to start. Yeah, some people start. I mean, we have older people who are students who created their company while at Harvard and other places. There's no age to start, and some of these students are incredible. They have created great companies that we are very excited to recognize by welcoming them here. And so, to announce the prize of the audience, I'm going to give you the, I don't know who it is. So we're going to find out. And it is, oops, only. Okay, all right, now I guess many of you are thirsty, hungry, maybe super warm, a little tired to clap every 10 seconds. And so I'm going to ask two things. One is, first, three things. One is, if you have not bid on anything or you are curious, have a look. There's absolutely no obligation whatsoever. It is just for your own benefit, so have a look if you're interested. That's the first thing. The second thing is I'm going to invite the people from the jury, the gold sponsors, our winners, and our partners to actually stay here. And I'm going to invite everyone else to enjoy a drink outside and a little hors d'oeuvre from Angelina, as well as ice cream from Dolce Brooklyn, as well as many drinks. And hopefully you guys are going to connect and meet with wonderful people tonight. Thank you again for being here, and I hope to see you next year.